Scentland, the land of scent. Hello and welcome. Chris back with another fragrance review today, and it's actually a little bit more than a fragrance review because I'm trying to pay homage, tribute to my favorite ever designer, the late great genius of Gianni Versace. Now, first thing, as I did with Joop as well, the pronunciation. I just highlight this again, not to play smart, but I know that Donatella, the sister of Gianni, is very upset by the Versace pronunciation. So guys was Italian. The family is Italian from the south, and therefore try to make the effort to call their name what it's supposed to be called, Versace. So never, not Versace, just Versace. And as I mentioned, Gianni Versace was growing up in the south of Italy, and he was very close, as I understand from various interviews that I have seen with him. He was very close to his mother, who was in the fashion clothing industry, and so he was very soon very close to the manufacturing process of various clothing, and he became obviously interested, and in 1978 he opened his own fashion house, the house of Versace, Gianni Versace, and it was the first one. Was a woman's collection that was highly successful straight from the start, and so since then this brand, along with the Medusa logo that he has found, I think he has found this Medusa logo somewhere on a fence at one of his houses or apartments. He saw this Medusa logo and decided that that would fit his Greek Roman type of style that he made to perfection. He was very much influenced by historical art as well as contemporary art, and various directions of art. Obviously, this is why I mentioned the Greek Roman style, but also like people like Andy Warhol made a huge impression on him, or the people of Miami in the mid-90s. That's why he moved there, because he said that he stopped by once, and it was just amazing what's going on in Miami, and that's why he decided to actually step foot in Miami and locate himself there temporary between Milan and the US, being in the US and partially and remaining in Italy as well at I think Lake Como it was, where he was having this huge house at the lakeside. I think George Clooney has a house there as well, and so going into the 80s, obviously he built up the brand together with his sister Donatella Versace in a very, very successful manner. They were very appealing to the celebrities as well. Loads of celebrities like Madonna, Elton John, people like that became very big fans of the brand. So Versace, to me, apart from being an absolute utter genius, is also has great input in elevating the fashion industry onto this pop star level, because he himself became so extremely popular, like he was himself a pop star almost. And obviously he went into, since we're talking about fragrances on my channel, and it's not a fashion channel, and I don't want to deep dive into things that I'm not very professional in, so I just wanted to give you a brief framework of Versace, how he started, where he's coming from, and how he developed this together with his family, because there is his brother as well, and his sister, and the three together worked on this very much, obviously with the creative genius of Gianni driving this forward, and he became involved into the fragrance industry as well, and in 1981 they released the first Gianni Versace fragrance for a female fragrance. I only have a mini of that. That's the one, nicely sitting there. It's a classy, very nice, very thick, extremely 80s sexy vibe about this fragrance. Yet it has its own distinct Italian Versace feel to it, which I totally adore. This is a very early edition, as I say, rarely around at this stage. For me, it's very important at the same time that, you know, this review is all about the work of Gianni Versace, not about the house of Versace in general. So you won't see any releases past the time of his passing. So you won't see any releases from the later part being launched after the passing of Gianni. So this was the first fragrance, Gianni Versace, for a woman. Extremely nice, extremely fashionable at the time. But to me, this is an everlasting, total, utter masterpiece. Although it's not like the fragrances that are coming out today, yet it's still something that is it's just classy in itself. And what you can say about Versace is always, and what it's a true statement that we have to highlight, is that whatever he has put out, both in terms of clothing or fragrances or costumes for opera, because he did that as well. I want to highlight that as well. He was very much into the theater world and the world of the opera, designing costumes as well. So whatever he did, he has not produced anything or gave his name to anything that is lower level than the very best. So if you see Gianni Versace, on it, if it bears the name, if it bears the signature, as we will see, here's the signature, by the way, right? It's only the very best that you can get, and I'm missing that of the house of Versace since a little bit. Although I like Donatella, but Gianni was Gianni. So later on, he released his first male fragrance as well, L'Homme. Now they're contradicting dates of this, right? It looks like this, right? Very nice bottle. I love this fragrance. It's one of my signature fragrances. It's a tremendous fragrance. Versace L'Homme. Some say or state it's being released in 1984. Some say it's 86. It's definitely an 80s fragrance. But again, it's a timeless masterpiece to me. Totally. It really reminds me of a sunny day in Monte Carlo. That's how it smells. You smell rich, sophisticated. Just, your spirit is flying when you wear this fragrance. So Versace L'Homme for me is something that returns every summer. I use this as a summer fragrance, although it's a spicy, fresh spicy fragrance, but it's not too heavy. It's very nice, very uplifting, very classy, and therefore I reached for it in every springtime, summertime. I totally adore this. This is obviously the older type of box, and also the fonts, the letters here, the older version, not the really initial one, the vintage one. But this is somewhere in between. There's another packaging now done. Very, very great respect for Donatella that she kept this alive. Just changed the bottle the box to be more contemporary, probably, but she kept this alive, so this is very much still around. Versace L'Homme, very good price as well on this. You can get this for $20 or €20 easy. And then obviously he entered the 90s, and the 90s were the time when Gianni was really shining. He brought out all these fantastic motifs that I was talking about, and I have a few ties where you can see what I'm talking about. I mean, you really this is the type of Versace motifs of the 90s that came out, obviously with ties, with shirts, with all different things, right? I got some more here as well, even something like this, more classy, but you see the Medusa head on there. The Medusa head is everywhere, right? So Gianni was very busy. Gianni was a star of the scene, and he opened the 90s to proceed with the best fragrance duo of all time designer, in my opinion, which was in 1991, released in 1991, called Versus Donna versus Uomo. This is how it looks front, right? You see Gianni's signature on there. I turn this around because the design really speaks like this. And that's the male version again, the signature is there. And so these two fragrances, in my opinion, are the very best. And I'm in the game for many, many years. Maybe around I started to be interested in fragrances, but at the very early 90s. And I've come across a lot of fragrances. And in my opinion, I should turn this around, right? Because that's the front. This duo that we see here is the very best, or are the very best designer fragrances for women and men ever released. In my opinion, absolutely. The male's version is just is a rugged, lemony, piney, mossy, flowery masterpiece, and the female one is just this one is just like it's really hard to put into words how good this fragrance smells. Both of them actually. This is sex bottled. This one. Absolutely. It smells it's a bit powdery, but it smells so red and delicious and mouth-watering, juicy, and it's just incredible. Really great effort has been put into these fragrances, and this is also, I think, again, what I said. If the signature is there of Gianni, you can make sure that this is top quality. Nothing like they released today, nothing. So, Versus Uomo versus Donna from 1991 and 1992, total utter masterpieces. Then time went on, and Gianni got even more creative. So he said, okay, let's bring out the jeans series, packed, bottled very nicely. And he had a female line and a male line. The female line is all about, let's play with them. It's all about these funky bottles, red jeans. What do we have here? White jeans, there's a cap missing. Yay, so sexy. Baby rose jeans, my favorite one of the female ones, right? I love these fragrances, and look at how playful, nice the boxes are, or these tin containers are, right? Again, where do I read it? Do I read it on this one? No, it's not a vintage. Do I read it here? Don't read it here. Do I read it here? The good name of Gianni? No, it's on the male ones. Because these are later releases when, although the white one should have it on somewhere. Because here, what you have is the entire line, okay? That Gianni Versace was bringing onto the game in his lifetime. That's the entire line, okay? I don't have physically for example, I don't have his blonde on here. Blonde is there, released in 1995. I don't have that. I have Dreamer. I have there's black jeans and white jeans. I just have the white jeans. I don't have black. But there you have green and yellow jeans. I have them. Baby rose and baby blue. I have them. Red and blue jeans. I have them here. So you have the stuff here, right? Beautiful, beautiful stuff. So these are the female ones, tremendously. They came out in the years of 94, 95, 96, 97. As well as the male ones, obviously, blue jeans, you know, it's still around. You see it at every airport, this stuff, right? You see it at every airport. It's just there. It's an everlasting stuff. Here, what I wanted to show you, there is the name. Vintage looks like this, Gianni Versace Profumi. Okay, that's baby blue jeans. I love this baby blue jeans stuff. It's such a nice citrusy powdery men's fragrance. It's amazing, really. And the weirdest one of them all is green jeans, and that juice, I reviewed that separately. It's just mind-blowingly weird, but extremely green. If you want a weird green fragrance, you go for. But look, you know, this is colorful, this is quality, this is long-lasting performance. This is something that does not copy anything else that was on the market. This is pure Gianni Versace. He designed the tin boxes, he designed the bottles themselves. He was involved, he put his name on it, and it was quality. That's what I want to say, okay? Very, very, very nice. And then, obviously, I don't have the bottle here where I maybe have to scoop up for the bottle. Just a second. So, because there is a fragrance that needs to be featured, and it was the last one that he came out in his lifetime, the Dreamer. Many of you know this one. It's a star among fragrances up until this day. The Dreamer, it has been called Dreamer at the time, and maybe they call it now the Dreamer, or it has been the other way around. Let me check. The Dreamer, yeah, it was Dreamer at the time. This is the new packing. There was an old packing with this fantastic kind of starlit evening horizon, like you could see the Milky Way on the bottle, on the box. It was fantastic, and this is a very nice, dreamy, flowery tobacco scent. The Dreamer is still among the best sellers of today, along, I think, with blue jeans. The only thing that they've discontinued is actually these two. They're not available anymore. Although this bottle I have checked, it was made in 2012. 2012, right? So it's maybe it's still in production, maybe it's still produced. I'm not sure. It sure thing that the date of production is May of 2012 with that particular bottle of Versus Donna. So as you can see, I'm a huge fan of Gianni's, and as an artist, as a human being. I mean, there is an interview you should check out if you're interested now in Gianni. There's an interview up on YouTube from 1994 with Charlie Rose. I don't particularly fancy Charlie Rose's type of interviewing because it seems sometimes a bit dumb. But the way Gianni Versace is presenting himself, the way he answers even stupid questions, the way he articulates, the way he refers to culture and way of being, and you know, the way he answers very intelligently, very smartly, and very low key. The questions that he's getting is just fantastic. I mean, he's really the man. He's really the man, or he was the man. For me, he still is, because his spirit somehow is still here. Also, what I wanted to say with that interview, he looks timeless in that interview. Check it out. He looks as if that interview was made yesterday. That just proves that his looks, that his style is just evergreen and everlasting and timeless. And his great inspiration in terms of another designer that he got inspired from was Karl Lagerfeld, who is still very active, obviously, and is again very well read, very much into the cultural background of things, and a person is not somebody. These guys were not somebody who were just, you know, gallivanting in this weird world of fashion and then it was an empty balloon. These guys are and were very well read, very well educated, and just tremendous personalities of the game. So rest in peace, Gianni Versace. But really I really don't have to say that, because to me he lives on. His spirit lives on, and obviously Donatella makes sure that his legacy goes on, not only in fragrances but in fashion as well. And he's just a timeless classic himself, and his creations are timeless. And actually, he's my favorite designer ever. So what I can afford of the house, I keep with me. I would never sell these things. I wear them, whether that be his ties, something, something casual, or just fragrances. I totally remain a great fan of Gianni Versace as long as I live. So thanks very much for your attention. This was a long homage to the great guy, great man. And talk soon, and see you soon for another fragrance review. Viva Gianni! Viva Gianni!